What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Boundless Perception YouTube channel. And today I'm here to talk to you about a few more 3D printed related problems, specifically problems with your 3D printers, how to solve them, and probably ones that you may not even be looking for, because a few of these, well actually a lot of them, I actually found just through trial and error. I went to forums, I went to Facebook groups, and I didn't really I guess I encountered the solution to a lot of the problems I was having. So we're going to talk about that today, and hopefully these solutions will help you solve a few of your 3D printing problems. So let's hop to it. Okay guys, so I have, as you know, 4 3D printers at the moment. I have 2 that are on the way actually. I have 3 CR-10s, 2 CR-10 V2s, 1 CR-10 V3, and 1 Ender 3. They're all currently printing at the moment, so hopefully you don't hear too much background noise. I mean, they are pretty quiet, but hopefully you don't hear anything. But long story short, all these printers are very similar, but yet they all work and act, well, they all act very differently. They all seem to have like a mind or temperament of their own. And as a result, they all make very unique problems. I don't understand how it works. I mean, they're all basically made with the same parts, but for some reason, they all kind of have their own personalities. So we're gonna start off with the first problem I've had, and I'm just gonna show you guys right here. I thought that everything was related to leveling. When I first got into 3D printing, I thought everything was just leveling, and you'll be fine. Well, that's true and not true. So one of the problems I was having with my 3D printers was related to the PTFE tubing. Specifically, what was happening is I was getting prints that were coming out like this. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm trying to turn the light on it a little bit. They were coming out like this. So this side is not smooth. The layers are not consistent. You can see there's a huge chunk, whatever, missing right here. These could all, of course, be solved with, you know, like post-processing, wood filler, things like that. But this is what it is supposed to look like. So this is what I got. This is what I was going for. Hopefully you guys can see the differences in these two. And it was caused by many different problems, but which I'm going to talk about now. But one of the first being was, I said, the PTFE tubing, which is this. Hopefully you guys can see that. I don't know if the camera will focus on it. What had happened was my PTFE tubing had somehow developed a gash, a chunk of it just went missing. And in place of that chunk, some of the filament had now filled in that area and was just disrupting the filament that was coming through. So essentially it was a crack filled in by filament, and then the filament passing through that said crack was bonding to the filament crack, and it was just weird. I had never seen it happen before. I re-leveled the printer bed, I changed the nozzle, I changed the filament type, everything. I was still getting the problem. I couldn't figure it out until I changed my tubing and I saw this sucker here. So one of the first things you can do, one of the first things, you know, like when it comes to solving problems, is check your PTFE tubing. That may be your issue right there. Another problem that I seem to have just recently started getting on just my CR-10 V3 was basically I could not get the bed level, and I couldn't figure out why. I mean, I'm very accustomed to leveling beds. I do it all manually. I don't use, you know, any type of auto leveling. I just couldn't get it level, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm accustomed to this. I've done it on 3 other printers that have no problem. What is going on? Actually, turns out that I can grab it here. The bed itself was not level. So I ended up buying a replacement bed, and this right here is the old bed. The bed looks level, sure, but it's off in certain areas. It just came from the manufacturer that way. I ended up replacing the bed, and the problem went away. So you may think that it's your leveling, and a lot of times it is, but it's not always. You know, it could actually be a manufacturer flaw. So that's gonna be my second tip. My second advice is to have an extra aluminum heated bed laying around or ordered, just in case the one you have gets warped, or, you know, you can swap it out to, if you're doing, you know, like some trials and trying to figure out exactly what's causing errors with your print. You have another board that you can check, and if it, you know, if it has the same problem, then you know that it's not the board. And if it's not having the same problems, then you know that it is the board. I don't know, I maybe jumbled that up, but you guys get what I'm trying to say. So that's my next one. Check your aluminum heated board. The third problem that I have encountered with regards to leveling and having prints coming, you know, off just janky is related to, of course, like I said, leveling. And specifically, I figured out a way, well, I didn't figure out a way, I saw it online, to correct your board if it is not level. So how do I say it exactly? If the bed is level according to your leveling knobs, but for some reason you still can't figure out why it's not level, as I said, it may be your aluminum board. Well, instead of actually replacing the board, there's an option where you add paper or something, you know, thick to the side that is drooping to raise it up to make the whole board level. Let me show you what I mean. Let me pick up the camera and show you guys. So jumping over here to my printer that is currently printing, let's get the camera focused, there we go. You can see right here is the glass top. And underneath here, the silver part is the bed. You can put paper in between these two to raise any side that may be lower. That works wonders, it works. Don't worry about it catching on fire or anything like that. I've been doing it for a while, it works. So that's another trick that you can use. And just to show you guys exactly what I mean on my two pieces here. So this is your aluminum bed. This right here is your glass sheet. Your aluminum bed, of course, is underneath your glass sheet like so. And then if you have a part that's not level, let's say this side over here, you could just fold this piece up like so. I can fold it up like so, and then insert it under there. So just to show you guys, oops, we'll lift it up, remove the clips, of course, and I was trying hard to do with one hand. But yep, just put a piece of paper underneath it like that, and now this side is a bit higher than the other side. So that's another method you can use to try to get your bed level. Okay, so moving back over to our printer, another thing you're going to want to check if you're having kind of issues with your printer is the eccentric nuts underneath the printer. You can see it right there. They are the nuts. There's 3 wheels on the CR-10. You should be able to move them with your finger, you know, with minimal effort. If you can't, you're going to want to adjust the eccentric nuts underneath there. Just using, you know, a wrench like so, you would just go underneath it and adjust it. Make it looser, tighter, whichever one you want to make sure that your printer is able to move freely. And if it's doing so, then, or if it's not doing so, that may be one of the issues you're having. And if it is doing so, it may not be doing so efficiently, so you may just still want to loosen it. So that's another issue, I mean, not another issue, but another solution you can use to check and see if your 3D prints are, you know, basically off. And on to the next solution we have here. You see right here, this is our CR-10 V3. If you know, are having your hot end like this right now, and everything seems to be fine, there's no problems with it, but on the back side here, I can't really show you guys because the printer is printing. Try to see if I can focus it a bit. And yeah, it's basically the best I can get going. But essentially, there's 3 roller wheels, and you're going to want to tighten the eccentric nut on them to make sure that your entire hot end assembly is in fact not wobbling. Because if it's wobbling, what will happen is as the hot end moves from one side of the printer to the other, the filament causes it to raise up. It'll cause it to start going like this, and so you'll get uneven printing across your board. It's kind of hard to explain. All you need to know is this should not have any wiggle room. It should be very solid. Tighten your eccentric nuts to make sure that it is in fact very solid. So, and last but not least, going back to the aluminum heated bed, if again, I said you have an area that is higher, so on this board, the middle was higher than the surrounding areas. Something you can do, and that's a last ditch effort, is use your knee. If I can show you guys this, use your knee and just pull it down and keep doing that with all your strength. These boards are extremely hard to warp. I mean, like, even with putting in all my force, I'm able to get it to bend a little bit, and you can feel it bend, but it's nowhere near that point of snapping. So I was just doing that for a bit. It did help. I'm sure if I kept doing it over and over and over, eventually the bed's middle part would, you know, sloop down and droop back down. But I can't measure how much force or how much I needed to get it to go down by. So it's kind of like a trial and error. I would just do it, put it on the bed, see if it's even, not go back and do it. So that is another last ditch effort, as these aluminum heated pieces, I'll leave the link for it, are about 90 bucks or so like that. So, you know, it's not cheap. It's not super expensive, but it's not cheap. But if you can fix the one that you have, that's definitely the solution you want to go for, because you can save some money. So these are all issues that I again have had with these printers, and I've kind of just learned solutions by trial and error, and just going through Reddit forums and going through Facebook groups, and you just kind of read comments. A lot of times you see the same thing over and over again. Make sure your bed is level, make sure that your filament is dry, make sure that your nozzle is not clogged. But once you go through all of the common errors that a lot of people have, then you start having to get kind of creative and figure things out. And that's what me just sitting and literally staring at my printers, just sitting there and just glaring at them, mostly because I'm pissed and also because I'm fascinated, you know, this is what it has led to. I'm like, oh wait, I've been staring at this for about 5 minutes now. What is going on here? Why am I seeing this lift up every single time it moves over into the area? Or, you know, when you're like basically level with your printer bed and you're noticing, why is the nozzle a little bit higher over here? There's a bigger gap compared to what's over there. So that is basically the results of my I don't know, studying of these printers and just playing with them. It's coming up on a year or so that I've been 3D printing, and in this time I've printed a crap ton of things. I currently have all 3 printers working on a commission. I just finished a Mandalorian helmet that needs to go out. So yeah, I run these printers very, very hard, and as a result I am always having to do a lot of maintenance on them. I go through about 10 to 12 spools of filament a month. So yeah, I have learned a lot basically in the short amount of time I'm in 3D printing. But anyways, hopefully some of these tips help you guys. Again, if you are getting into 3D printing, or if you're a veteran, I would love to, you know, see your comments below, some things you've learned, you know, help out other people, because I'm sure other people have had the exact same issues that you're having. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for checking out my episodes on my channel. As always, please like and subscribe, and until next time, stay boundless. See you guys. Bye-bye.